Part 2. Conceptualization of Peace. It is fascinating to explore the various perspectives on peace that have been articulated in different writings and scholarly works. Peace can be understood and described in multiple dimensions, each offering unique insights into the concept and its implication. First and foremost, peace is often conceptualized as the converse of war. In this sense, peace represents the absence of armed conflict, violence, and destruction. It is the opposite of wars, chaos, and bloodshed, embodying a state of tranquility, stability, and security. This understanding of peace emphasizes the importance of preventing and resolving conflicts to maintain societal well-being. So, peace is viewed as a state of public tranquility, characterized by the absence of civil disturbance or hostility. It involves the absence of riots, protests, and social unrest. This idea of peace highlights the need for a harmonious and calm societal environment, where individuals can freely express their views and live without fear of violence or persecution. Moreover, peace is often associated with the reduction or elimination of violence and transformation of societal dynamics. It involves fostering an nonviolent culture and promoting alternative modes of conflict resolution, such as negotiation, mediation, and diplomacy. Peace, in this sense, requires addressing the root cause of conflict and working towards long-lasting solutions. In addition to being a state of absence, peace can also be seen as a condition of social harmony, contrasting antagonism. It entails cultivating positive relationships between individuals, groups, and nations. Peace is achieved through fostering mutual understanding, respect, and cooperation, embracing diversity, and finding common ground. It signifies overcoming the barriers of prejudice and division, with a focus on building bridges and promoting unity. The concept of peace also encompasses the coexistence of differences. It recognizes that diverse perspectives, cultures, and identities can peacefully coexist without erasing each other. Peace, in this context, encourages dialogue, inclusivity, and tolerance, allowing for celebration and acceptance of different viewpoints and ways of life. Furthermore, peace involves improved communication with others. It emphasizes the importance of effective communication channels and platforms that facilitate understanding, empathy, and collaboration. Open and respectful dialogue enables the resolution of differences and a building of trust, which are vital components of peaceful relations. Peace is also characterized by the ability to tolerate, accommodate, and harmonize with one another. It requires individuals and societies to embrace compromise, empathy, and the recognition of shared humanity. Rather than imposing one's own views or interests, peaceful interactions involve finding common solutions that accommodate the needs and aspirations of all parties. So, we can say that peace is a complex and multidimensional concept that encompasses more than just the absence of war. It can be understood as follows. 1. The converse of war. 2. A state of public tranquility. 3. The reduction of violence. 4. The promotion of social harmony. 5. The coexistence of differences. 6. Improved communication and the ability to tolerate and harmonize with others. Exploring these various dimensions of peace offers a deeper understanding of the challenges and aspirations in achieving and sustaining peace. Classification of peace. Understanding what positive peace is. In here, we try to break the chains of violence. Statement. Introduction to positive peace. Positive peace is more than just the absence of direct violence. It includes the development of just and equitable conditions. I repeat it. It includes the development of just and equitable conditions, elimination of discrimination, and the avoidance of marginalization. So the concept of positive peace goes beyond the traditional notion of peace as the mere absence of conflict. Positive peace involves addressing the root causes of violence and promoting social justice to create sustainable peace. Positive peace emphasizes the eradication of indirect or structural violence. It recognizes that peaceful societies are built on the premise of equal opportunities, human rights, and social well-being for all. Further, positive peace challenges the prevailing social order that perpetuates inequality, injustice, and violence. It advocates for social transformation to create a more inclusive and harmonious society. Moreover, positive peace measures its success by evaluating the extent to which indirect or structural violence has been prevented. It seeks to address systemic issues that perpetuate violence and inequality. Positive peace also recognizes the importance of creating fair and equitable conditions for all individuals. It promotes equal access to resources, opportunities, and social services, fostering a more prosperous and peaceful society. Positive peace also seeks to eliminate discrimination based on race, gender, religion, or any other factor that marginalize individuals or groups. It fosters an environment where diversity is celebrated and everyone can thrive. So, in summary, we can say that positive peace is 1. Avoidance of indirect or structural violence. 2. It's a focus on development of just and equitable conditions. 3. It is about elimination of discrimination based on class, ethnic identity, tribal identity, religious identity, color, gender, culture, and so on. It is also an avoidance of marginalization, abolition of exploitation, rectification of unequal access to resources and privilege. It is also about elimination of poverty, effecting autonomy and an unequal participation in power, protection of fundamental rights, freedom. It's about dealing with unacceptable social order and changing human conditions. It is also about absence of indirect violence. As Galting stated, positive peace is a focus on root cause of conflicts to bring about peace. Negative peace. Understanding the concept of negative peace. Negative peace have different definitions. Let's see some of them. Scholars say that negative peace is an absence of direct violence. Negative peace focuses on the eradication of physical conflicts and clash among individuals and groups. Or it adheres to absence of direct or physical violence. Negative peace also is defined as a cold peace where it talks about or where it is about eliminating manifestation of violence. It is intended to prevent and eliminate manifest use of violence and resolve differences through negotiation and mediation rather than physical force. So, eliminating manifestation of violence or negative peace goes beyond just stopping overt acts of aggression, aiming to address the underlying causes and triggers of violence. It works only on the manifest. The third definition we can give for negative peace is, it is the notion of a stable social order that focuses on controlling symptoms of violence. Ahead, like taking an action like total disarmament to reduce the potential for armed struggle, or negative peace aims to maintain social stability by actively managing and minimizing the potential for violence to erupt. So, negative peace adheres to the role of international agreements and international institutions to support stable relations among states. It fosters cooperation among states. In other meaning, negative peace emphasizes the importance of international agreements and collaborations between nations to protect global stability. It also promotes nonviolent resolutions. By encouraging diplomatic negotiations and fostering peaceful dialogue, negative peace seeks to resolve conflicts without resorting to violence. Further, negative peace involves more in sustaining the status quo rather than dealing with the cause of recurring violence that exists in social relations. The idea of negative peace supports the idea of maintaining an established social order to avoid disruptions caused by violence. It mainly focuses on stability and a prevention of conflicts. So, what are implications of negative peace? 1. Reduction of bloodshed. Negative peace helps minimize human and societal casualties by preventing outbreaks of violence. 2. Impact on development. A stable environment created by negative peace fosters economic growth and social progress. 3. Long-term security. Negative peace contributes to long-lasting security, ensuring a peaceful coexistence among individuals and nations. While studying negative peace, it has its own timeline. It addresses the present, short, or near future term of violence and a belief that stability and peace can be maintained by an oppressive system, and it can be derived from deterrence strategies by punishing. So when we examine the timeline or evolution of negative peace, in the first instance, or we have inception. The concept of negative peace emerged in 1964 with the influential book Internal Peace by John Galtung. 2. The Cold War era. Negative peace gained prominence during the Cold War as the world navigated the dangers of potential nuclear conflict. Remember, during the Cold War era, there were incidents like the Cuban Missile Incident, the Korean War, the Vietnamese War, the Angolan Civil War, the Zaire Civil War, the Ethiopian-Somali War. 3. Post-Cold War challenge. After the fall of the Soviet Union, negative peace faced new challenge in managing international conflicts and terrorism. So, what's the power of negative peace? 1. Advocacy for nonviolent movements. Negative peace inspires and supports nonviolent civil rights movements, promoting change through peaceful means. 2. It is used for peacekeeping missions. Negative peace relies on the deployment of international peacekeeping forces to prevent violence and maintain stability in conflict zones. 3. Diplomatic negotiation. Negative peace encourages diplomatic negotiations and dialogue as a tool or as tools to resolve conflicts peacefully. So, what are the challenges and critics of negative peace? 1. Overemphasis on stability. Critics argue that negative peace may prioritize maintaining a flawed status quo over addressing underlying social and political issues. 2. Lack of addressing structural violence. Some claim negative peace fails to address systemic oppression and structural violence, focusing solely on direct acts of aggression. 3. Balancing sovereignty and intervention. International interventions in pursuit of negative peace often face challenges in navigating the delicate balance between national sovereignty and the responsibility to protect or R2P. The third view, next to positive and negative peace, is the realist view of peace. In the classification of peace, we can assume the realist view as follows. Realists are opponents of positive peace by arguing that there is no positive peace, for it's unrealistic and meaningless to equate peace with social justice. They claim that positive peace notion leads to an ideal society, being far from the objective reality. In a world governed by chaos, where conflicts rage and discord seems to permeate every corner, there exists a group of individuals known as realists. They view peace not through rose-tinted glasses or the lens of idealism, but rather through a pragmatic and grounded perspective. They believe that peace, far from being achieved through utopian dreams, emerges from a delicate balance of power and security among nations. They understand that in this realm of geopolitics, nations are driven by their thirst for power and dominance. It is within this realm that realists find their purpose to navigate the treacherous waters of international relations with a cool-headedness that can only come from a firm grasp of reality. For realists, achieving peace is not a simple endeavor. It requires a keen understanding of one's own national interests and a willingness to assert power when necessary. It is not about sweeping gesture of goodwill or empty promises, but rather about calculated actions that seeks to protect and advance one's own nation's objectives. Realists acknowledge that the world is a complex place, filled with competing interests and conflicting agendas. They recognize that peace is not a static state to be achieved and maintained indefinitely, but rather a constant struggle, a delicate dance of power and restraint. It is an ever-evolving equilibrium that demands constant vigilance and adaptability. Yet, despite this stark realism, realists understand that peace is not an elusive dream. They know that by embracing the realities of the world, by acknowledging the inherent complexities, they can forge a path towards a more stable and secure future. It is this understanding that drives them, that fuels their determination to navigate the murky waters of international relations and steer towards a semblance of peace. In the eyes of realists, peace is not an idealistic fantasy, but a hard-won achievement built upon a foundation of power, security, and an unwavering commitment to the national interest. It is a perspective that challenges us to face the world as it is, rather than as we wish it to be. And in doing so, it offers a pragmatic and inspiring vision of peace, one that is attainable, albeit through the gritty realities of the world we inhabit. Realists argue that against the notion of positive peace, for they see it as a futile attempt to equate peace with social justice. For realists, the true culprits of war lie within the institutions that support violence, like military-industrial complexes, rather than individual or group socio-psychological behavior. They understand that war is a product of complex systems and structures that drive conflict, and it is within those systems that real change must occur. Realists contend that widening the notion of peace to encompass broader social issues would only serve to divert attention away from the tangible problems that need immediate resolution. They argue that by extending the scope of peace studies, we risk diluting our efforts and lengthening the list of conditions that threaten human survival, making it even more challenging to address the pressing issues of our time. In the world seen through the eyes of realists, peace is not an ethereal concept or an attainable ideal. It is a journey shaped by the realities of power, security, and the constant pursuit of national interests. It is an acceptance of the imperfect world we live in, coupled with the unwavering determination to navigate its complexities and strive for semblance of stability. For realists, this is the only path towards achieving a sustainable and enduring peace in a world driven by competing interests and harsh realities. The fourth categorization of peace is holistic conception of peace. This conception of peace emphasizes the interconnectedness of personal peace with the universal peace. It promotes the creation of inner and communal peace through spiritual and traditional means, while also striving to build social harmony and stability in the universe. It recognizes the importance of emotional and spiritual maturity, which is influenced by the world's ecology and bioenvironmental system. This holistic perspective links the ideal of the human spirit to the harmony between different components of the Earth system and even the universe. In the vast tapestry of existence, there is a conception of peace that transcends the boundaries of individual experiences and embraces a more profound interconnectedness. It is a holistic view, one that recognizes the unbreakable link between personal peace and the harmony that permits the universe itself. At its core, the holistic conception of peace seeks to create inner and communal peace amongst humans. It acknowledges the power of spiritual and traditional practices in nurturing a sense of tranquility within oneself and fostering harmony among individuals. Through deep introspection and spiritual awakening, this conception of peace encourages individuals to find solace within their own souls, thereby enabling them to contribute to the collective peace that the universe craves. Part 3.